when I was down, again, I was staying with Tommy Jarrell in his home in Mount Airy. He was puzzled because he saw all these guys who were coming down. He said, all these Jews. He says, don't Jews have their own music? Don't you have none of your own music? And he was really, and I said, well, yes, of course we do, Tommy. And I'm thinking, well, what do we have? I'm trying to think of a corollary to what Tommy is talking about. No, I didn't know any fiddle players who played Yiddish music. Certainly no one was playing banjo in the Jewish world. And it stuck with me because it was a very dynamic question, because it really was getting to an essence of self-identity. You know, you just think if you don't have something, you go look for it elsewhere, rather than saying, hey, I have it, but I'm just not interested in it. Well, I didn't even know that. And this was in the mid-'70s. And, you know, it's kind of like the riddle of the Sphinx. You know, you have to ask the right question in order to get the right answer. And I had never, ever asked my parents about growing up doing traditional music. What was a wedding like in Ravna? Were the bat chonim? Were the klezmorim? What kind of repertoire? The only thing I really cared about, and I used to collect 78s of hillbilly records. And I said, well, maybe there's this other stuff. And I would find these records and it would say Abe Schwartz Orchestra or Naftula Brandwein Orchestra. I said, I don't want orchestral music. I want band music. I want, you know. And my parents would say, oh yeah, they would tell me about this and they would tell me about that. And they would say, oh, this guy. And then I realized once I had the veil sort of removed, he says, well, of course we have dance music. Do you remember at the hotel? And they would say, you know, Dave Taras, remember him? And I said, yeah, what about him? He says, he's like the greatest, you know, and he plays this music. I said, but it's clarinet. He says, yeah, it's clarinet. And I just had to sort of recalibrate my head to you know, because I had come to consciousness of traditional music in a very, 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 very finite kind of soundscape: banjo, fiddle, guitar, stacked, you know, Baptist shout, you know, kind of gospel vocals and stuff. And here I am trying to parse this stuff out. So I said, you know, I'd been doing field work at this point. I'd recorded a bunch of stuff down down south, and it occurred to me, I said, well, maybe I could do this. You know, the essence of being an ethnographer is you can't assume anything about your subjects. You can't, you know, and you have to, in essence, make yourself a stranger by asking questions that seem, why are you asking me this question? You know. He says, no, I'm asking because I have to know. And the idea of making myself a stranger in my own community was like, I think my head was going to explode, because it really required unlearning and making myself transparent. And it was like a gold mine, because suddenly I saw people that I had grown up with. This guy, Apilevich, this guy, you know, Rosenzweig, these guys, and they're great singers, or this guy plays mandolin and stuff. And suddenly these people became not cardboard cutouts, but they became three-dimensional people who were infused with traditional Yiddish music.